Talking with the experts.
Join Aimee Schuster as she explores the benefits of fractional leadership for enhancing sales and marketing alignment and optimizing business strategies in episode 510.
And we have lots of clues to help us figure that out. We have the search terms that they most likely came in on based on how your website is set up. We have the type of newsletter, that they converted on, the paid advertisement that they converted on, or specifically which blogs they were interacting with. Again, once that person has filled out a form, if you have the right systems on your website, you're going to be able to understand exactly what their path was before they filled out that form and start to curate a very specific experience for them that's going to make them feel they're getting answers to their questions. At the top of both is what I like to tell people the foundation of every good marketing department is, which is SEO, right? SEO is your 24/7 lead channel. It's being in the right place at the right time when people are asking questions and you get to answer them. You get to bring them on site. You get to talk to them about how you can solve their problem.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem-solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. Today my guest is Aimee Schuster, and Aimee is an expert at marketing the invisible, having spent the last 25 years helping business-to-business organisations like Miller Hyman Group, the DLA Piper and Homefinder.com build, advance and energise their lead generation programs. Aimee founded Bandwidth Strategy, a fractional CMO and COO consultancy to help growth stage organisations drive the right leads into the funnel that result in closed won businesses. Now, Aimee's going to be discussing with us how to address your pipeline and funnel tier. I'm really looking forward to that discussion because it's something that a lot of us struggle with, and it's something that we could all learn a bit about. Aimee, welcome so much to Talking with the Experts. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you, Rose. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure to learn from the best. Now, please tell me a little bit about how you ended up being where you are.
Yeah, I'm an accidental fractional CMO. I a lot of times will take people back to the start of my career as a B2B marketer because I think it's so interesting to think about how far we've come. I started in 2001 when we were still faxing out press releases as a means of communication. At that point in time, sales and marketing were really in totally different sides of a physical building, let alone completely different parts of the organization. Today, as a B2B marketer who helps organizations with their sales and their marketing needs, we have evolved into this highly digital, analytics-focused, coordinated effort where we're not only in the same room, but a lot of times these days we're under one umbrella. You've just seen this proliferation of the CRO function really taking over the commercial side of the organization. I love helping organizations to align their sales and marketing to drive more leads. I'm a 2-time founder, and I've worked as a CMO for 2 of the largest sales training companies. So I have this really crazy, unique perspective of an intersection of sales and marketing. So talking about how to bring the 2 organizations together to drive more leads is really, really my jam. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
Wonderful. Now, a lot of us as business owners, when we're starting out, find it difficult to start a funnel. What is a funnel? How does it work? You know, how do we get people into the top end of it and funnel out the bottom in the little end?
Yeah. I think when we think about funnel management, right, it sounds very fancy. And what we're really talking about is at the very top, how do we make people aware of what we do? How do we capture their interest along the way? And then eventually get them to a point where you, as the salesperson, whether that means you're an official salesperson or not, is able to align with the needs of the individual to get them to a close won stage. So that's the most simplistic view of a funnel. I think where these days, in terms of where marketing and sales sort of intersect at these points, marketing is really focused on the top of the funnel, right? And I think there's some argument there as to if marketing should be full funnel. But for the most part, when I think about B2B, when I think about the organizations that I'm helping that are, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, large enterprise deals, we need to really look at how the marketing department can help those organizations build brand awareness at the top of the funnel. And the way in which you do that is getting more and more interesting as time goes on. Again, I spoke a little bit about fax machines at one point, and that's not how we do it anymore. But instead, we're doing things like encouraging CEOs to go on podcasts to build their brand awareness for themselves in service of their organization, to be doing the type of content creation, to be setting infrastructure for things like search engine optimization, making sure that you're helping people find the answers to the problems that they're searching for in the moments that they're having them is the ultimate way that you build brand awareness and bring people into your funnel. So I think you can talk about it globally. You can talk about it big picture. We can talk about different sections of it, but hopefully that gives the audience a sense of top of the funnel brand awareness, bottom of the funnel closed won. There's a lot that happens in between.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people to get that brand awareness, they think they have to splash social media or splash their, email list with, no, I wouldn't say nonsensical, but I would say just a lot of irrelevant.
Frequent.
Yes,
frequent.
Yes.
Very frequent.
Absolutely. I mean, recently signed up to get a freebie from somebody, and it was like every single day I got an email from them. And I think really, one a day is, to me, is too much.
Yeah.
Maybe once a week, but every single day. Sometimes it was twice a day. And I thought, what in hell is going on here? People don't have all that much time to read every single email that comes through. They scan through it, think, oh yeah, that's interesting. And then they, just delete it out of their inbox. What is a way that that we can get people more engaged with our emails, and what is a good number to be sending every week?
That is a really difficult question to answer. I think it's different for every business. What I like to tell people is your best leads are always going to be people that are called hand raisers, right? They're people that have educated themselves through their own experiences before they've raised their hands and said, I want to talk to you. Now, it sounds like in your case, you didn't raise your hand and say you wanted to talk to someone. You filled out a form to get some information. And those are very, very different types of people. What you are is at the top of the funnel. You are creating opportunities to learn about that organization. What that person chose to do in terms of the follow-up is probably more intensive than what I would recommend. But again, it is so different for each different organization, not knowing how big their sale is and how long the sales cycle is. It's difficult for me to have a prescription for everyone. I know when we're talking about 5, 6, 7-figure, 8-figure deals, You want to make sure that you are getting people to the point of raising their own hands. That's the best possible lead you can get. And you're not going to get there by mass spamming them. You're going to get there by providing them a curated amount of valuable content that they can read at their own discretion, that brings them back to your website, that encourages them to do more self-education without what it sounds like your experience was, which was a very assaultative experience. And one that was most likely set up through a drip campaign, and the person isn't even really coordinating with it as much anymore. I don't want to knock it. Again, it might be very successful for them, given who they're trying to sell and what they're trying to do. Maybe you aren't necessarily the best audience for them as well. But I like to approach digital marketing the same way that I approach, offline marketing, and just general business and networking, is make it a authentic experience for the other side of the table. Provide value, do what you can to educate and get people to the point of their own hand raise, because the likelihood of that person going to close one is so much higher than force feeding a bunch of blog requests and form fills into a system.
Yeah, I agree. I think over supply, I guess, if want of a better word, of information is not as helpful as if you drip feed them, a little bit at a time, so they can actually absorb all the information and not be overwhelmed by what's coming into their inbox every day. Aimee, once you get the people to the top of the funnel, what would be the next steps down to get them to be that, to put their hand up to buy from you?
Yeah. So again, I think of the pipeline as actually two separate pipes, right? We've got hand raiser pipeline, people who have landed on your website, filled out a form and said they want to talk to someone. That is a very different lead to me than the person like you who was interested in reading a piece of content, signed up for your newsletter, might have filled out a form within a paid experience that was to get a piece of content. Those folks are learners, right? So you've got your learner leads and your hand raiser leads. And the ways in which that you pull them further down the funnel from a hand raiser perspective is give them a really quality experience as a salesperson, right? You want to make sure that, again, you are not being assaultative. Having been at a number of different sales training organizations, there is an art to that. There's also a science. So making sure that you've got a really strong sales team that's going to be able to help bring that hand raiser through. On the learner side, what you're doing is trying to point them in the direction of very curated content that speaks to the question or the problem that they're trying to solve. And we have lots of clues to help us figure that out. We have the search terms that they most likely came in on based on how your website is set up. We have the type of newsletter, that they converted on, the paid advertisement that they converted on, or specifically which blogs they were interacting with. Again, once that person has filled out a form, if you have the right systems on your website, you're going to be able to understand exactly what their path was before they filled out that form and start to curate a very specific experience for them that's going to make them feel they're getting answers to their questions. At the top of both is what I like to tell people the foundation of every good marketing department is, which is SEO, right? SEO is your 24/7 lead channel. It's being in the right place at the right time when people are asking questions and you get to answer them. You get to bring them on site. You get to talk to them about how you can solve their problem. So SEO, again, I sort of misspoke a second ago when I said it's the foundation of any marketing department. It's truly the foundation of any funnel that lives both through marketing and through sales. And it's just such a powerful tool. And I've been a big believer of it for over a decade, and I continue to be.
Yeah, SEO is really important. And unfortunately, a lot of people still don't understand how SEO works and how the use of keywords and tagging certain words in your pages, especially if you're using WordPress, is really important in getting that high level of SEO percentage.
Yeah, I mean, you are basically opening yourself up to answering people's questions literally, quite literally in the moment that they're asking them. If you can connect with them in those moments, the likelihood of them becoming a hand raiser is so much higher. And even if they're not ready to be a hand raiser, you are still the first place that they're going to find that information. It is an incredibly fertile ground. It's not hard to learn the concepts. I think people get nervous about the technical components of it and making sure that you have the right meta tags and keyword tags. All of that is important too. I'm not going to discard it. And I work with a lot of really great people who can help with that. But fundamentally, if you get the concept, to your point, and embrace what the possibilities are there, I think it is just such a strong foundation.
Absolutely. And, I'm a fan of visualizing, sorry, the funnel process. And I like the ones that have got like, it's like a mind map or a spider map where you have the top of the funnel and then you've got all these things coming off of it. And you can actually see where each potential client or client is on that journey. And I still haven't found that software where I can actually do that. And I'm still searching for something like that doesn't cost the earth, because a lot of them are very expensive. But how can we track a person's journey through the funnel?
Yeah, there are tons of tools that can help you do that. The most famous ones and the most expensive ones are the Salesforces and the Marketos. I think a more mid-tier, more affordable answer is usually like a HubSpot. And then there are some lower price options as well. There's a great Chicago company called Active Campaign that offers a similar product at a lower price point. But you bring up an interesting commentary about sort of that mind map and the customer journey, or I would say the potential customer journey. One of the things I like to do, and I've talked about in a number of articles, is making sure that you're creating that sales marketing alignment by telling that story. Historically, marketers marketing badly. We're really, really bad at telling our own story. One of the best ways that you can do that is in your sales marketing alignment meetings. Create a slide. I create a slide. I put a picture of the person, go out to LinkedIn, find their picture, talk about the company size, all of that, and then map out their journey line by line. How many different pages did they hit? What days did they hit them? When did they finally fill out a form? Who did they talk to? How many times have they come back to the site? I think we within the business of doing our business every day, we lose sight of how many times someone will actually interact with what we're doing from a digital marketing perspective. And CEOs particularly lose sight of that. Being able to do that on a regular basis with your sales organization or in a town hall, I did one today with a town hall, really goes far to telling the story of how people interact with your experiences and what causes them to actually finally stand up and raise their hand.
Yeah. Oh, and having those touch points, I think it used to be 5, now it's like about 12. People want to get, quite a number of touch points now to be able to, know the know, like, and trust thing for any organization, because there's so much scamming and spamming and all sorts of other things out there that people now are a bit more savvy about who they are going to have a relationship with.
Yeah, creating legitimacy is huge. It's part of your brand awareness. It's part of having, again, the answers to the questions for people in the moments that they have them, and finding that connection between the question and how they ask it and the answer and how you present it. Again, it all comes back to that SEO strength.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been through my website so many times with a fine-tooth comb, picking up where I could, elevate the numbers there where it's ranking, on Google, because Mr. Google knows everything. And, trying to get that great number so I end up on the first page. So, I mean, if you put my name into Google, I'm everywhere, but I don't know whether I've actually achieved first page ranking yet, but I'm endeavoring. That's my goal for next year.
Good goal.
Yeah, so I guess if you were to offer some advice to somebody that's starting their funnel, how could you make it in simple terms to get to from a hand raiser to a bona fide customer?
So two different questions. When we're starting our funnel, or so how we move people down the funnel. Tell me which way we should go first.
Oh, I think working people down the funnel, because a
Working
lot of
people
people
down the
when they're
funnel.
starting out still don't know how to. They know from how to get them in, and they know the
Sure.
process once they're out the end. But what's in the middle?
Yeah, I think a really solid sales team is in the middle that's supplemented by marketing. Really strong organizations are able to do both at each stage of the funnel, right? And whatever that funnel makeup is based on how your organization works, making sure that you're pushing people down and through and out, right? That's one of the hardest things, right? Really, that some of the best salespeople are like, I want to know. I want you to tell me no as soon as possible so I can move on to the next person. It tends to be salespeople that aren't as strong that string people along in that funnel, knowing that they're probably not a good fit. But having a really strong sales team, and then making sure that from a marketing perspective, you're supplementing that in a way in which works for the organization. Per your commentary, again, don't want to be assaultative. Can you offer webinars along the way? Can you offer interesting podcast snippets along the way? What of value can you, as the salesperson or supporting the salesperson, bring into a conversation of an in-pipeline deal that's really going to make them feel like, God, these folks really know me. They really understand what's going on. Ooh, I have a bug. Gross. Yeah. So yeah, how do you provide that value, and let people know that you've taken the time to really understand their business, through either your coordinated work, sales and marketing, or that marketing can run that in parallel with sales. So I think there's plenty of opportunities to move people out of the funnel, which is also important, and to move them through the funnel.
Yeah, I think once they're in, it's not so difficult to keep them in, and it's not so difficult to push those ones out that don't, they're just a bit of tire kickers, and they're not going to progress much through the thing and bring success at the end. Aimee, have you written any books on any of this?
No, I've written a lot of articles, but I have not written a book. I've had some folks suggest that I do it, and I get nauseous at that idea. It's so overwhelming, the idea of writing a book. I'm just so in awe of people that do it.
Yeah, maybe put your articles into a book, and then
then I don't have to write the book, right?
Absolutely. Aimee, where can people find you if they want to learn more about any of the work that you do, or indeed work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Bandwidthstrategy.com, or on LinkedIn. I'm Aimee Schuster, with the strange spelling of my first name. I am not French, but it is Aimee Schuster, and I'm here based in Chicago.
Perfect. Now, if you had some words of wisdom to share with somebody about, funnels or anything else, I mean, it doesn't have to be work related, what would that be?
Oh my gosh. I was just having a conversation today. Say yes. Say yes more than you say no. Whenever you get invited to speak, to talk to someone on a podcast, to write an article, to attend an event, I feel like all of us in this post-pandemic world are still struggling to find our feet and figure out what's what, and I just try to say yes as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a good plan, I think. That brings brand awareness, and that's really important in today's world, especially because most of it's online, and we don't often have in-person events still. They're still a bit hard to come by in certain areas. Aimee, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love meeting you, and I love hearing all about funnels.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rose. Take care.
You too.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the experts.